I was 15 feet from the light when the footsteps started running. I knew from the shakiness in my legs and the burning in my lungs that I couldn't run and that they'd catch me even if I could. They got me just as I stepped into the streetlight's yellow circle. An angry hand spun me around and another one grabbed my shirt. I dropped the duffel. "What's your problem, you little punk? Why won't you talk to me?" The face was pinched and pale and angry. It's all I saw. Dark, watery eyes. Eyebrows squeezed down and together. Red pimples on white skin. A mean mouth smiling like a shark. Sharp little teeth. His friends were lurking shadows behind him, moving to surround me. They were stupid laughs and shoving hands. They had everything bad and ugly and inescapable. I was alone with them all around me. Tears sprang hot and salty into my eyes. It was too much. "Leave me alone," the kid snorted. "Leave you alone? Please." My voice squeezed through my tight and clenching throat, sounded high and whiny. "Please," the kid said in a squeaky voice, mocking me. His friends laughed. "What you got in your backpack?" the kid asked, his voice dropping lower and getting more dangerous. I breathed out through my nose and closed my eyes. "You got any money?" I shook my head and tried to say no, but it just came out as a weak moan. My body was so tired. "Oh, I bet you do," the kid sneered. A hand tugged on my backpack. In the duffel at my feet, Bo growled. No one seemed to hear it but me. The hands pulled harder on my backpack. The straps dug into my shoulders. Mean chuckles and barks of laughter rang out around me. I tried to stand still, to stay on my feet. My stomach turned over and kicked. I swallowed. "Come on," the kid said. "Give it." I took a deep breath to slow down my lungs. "No," I said. My anger, chased away by fear, came slinking back. "Get out of here." I gritted my teeth and closed my eyes to hold down my puke. The first fist hit me in the ribs. I doubled over, my breath gone. Two hands pushed me hard from the side. I tripped into two more hands, which pushed me back. "No," I tried to say, but nothing came out. There was a final, wrenching tug on my backpack. Another punch, hard and round and sharp, hammered my stomach. The world fell apart. I fell. The sidewalk was hard and sudden, concrete sandpaper that rushed up and smashed pain into my body. A foot crashed into my stomach, another into my back. I started to rise up onto my hands and knees, but a fist slammed into my cheek and shot the light out of my eyes. I didn't cry, but only because I was too scared and sick and hurt to. My backpack was ripped from my back. I didn't try to stop it. I felt with my feet for the duffel. It was still there. I didn't want them to open it. Bo was a small dog. I knew what they could do to him. I heard the zipper of my backpack buzz open. "Nothing," the kid's voice said. "Just a bunch of clothes and ropes and crud. Loser." "What about the other bag?" the voice asked. "No," I mumbled. "Not Bo. My money. In my pocket." My face was pressed to the sidewalk, but they heard me. Hungry hands felt through my pockets. I felt the lump of my money slip out and away. "Holy crap," the kid's voice whispered. "There's like $100 here." "Leave some," I croaked, my voice hoarse and my breath short. "What?" "Don't take it all. It's mine. Leave me something." The kid snorted. "I'll leave you something," he said. A hand gripped my shoulder and turned me over onto my back. I opened my eyes in time to see the darkness of the night sky. Then the fist flying toward me. It connected with my mouth, with a meaty crunch that flashed bolts of pain through my body. My feet kicked out. My shoulders hunched. Blood, warm and thick and salty, ran down into my throat. The pale face glared down at me, the glow of the streetlight behind it. I saw the eyes drop down to my camera, still around my neck. My hand shot up and grabbed it. The kid pulled at my fingers and tugged at the camera. I held it tighter. Give it! No! I don't know if I said it or just thought it. My body was alive with pain. The kid pulled harder. I held tighter. He shook and yanked, and my fingers turned to steel. I wasn't letting go. He gave a last rocking jerk, and my hat tumbled off. I felt the cool night air in my head. The kid, his fist clenched back for another punch, froze. His eyes shot up to where my hat had been. God, he said, what's wrong with you? I blinked at him. You are, I said through my split lips. His mouth hung open. His fist slowly lowered. I lifted my camera and took a picture of him. Maybe he's got more, a different voice said. I heard a rustling at my feet where my duffel was. I heard a zipper being drawn back. Bo is a small dog, but size doesn't tell you anything about how important something is. Bo came out of his duffel bag like hot burning justice, like all the right kinds of anger, like everything the world ever needed. He came out into the darkness and the blood of the cold city street, fast and loud and hard. All teeth and bark and bravery. There were screams of surprise, shouts, curses, shrieks. Let's go, a voice shouted. I heard footsteps slapping quickly away into the night. The kid who'd punched me was still looking at me. I felt something flutter under my heaving chest, and then he was gone too, his footsteps joining the others, disappearing into darkness. I lay on the sidewalk, coughing, swallowing blood, and feeling all the different hurts in my body. There were plenty. Tears dripped hotly down my cheeks. The sidewalk was hard under my head. Rocks and pieces of gravel poked up at my back. I started to sit up, but stopped almost right away. I hurt too much in too many places. I dropped my head back to the sidewalk and looked through tear-blurred eyes up to where the stars should be. There weren't any. Clouds were hiding them, maybe, or they were lost in the lights of the city. I heard the click-clack of claws coming toward me. Bo. I hadn't noticed that he'd left. He'd chased them away, and then he came back for me. I felt his breath, his sniffling nose on my hand, then on my neck, my bloody mouth, then loudly in my ear. I felt his tongue, soft at first and then stronger as he got worried, licking at the blood and tears on my face. He whined a quiet but urgent whine and nudged me with his nose. I was still breathing, still staring at where the stars should have been, still feeling all my hurt and all my sad. And my dog was licking the blood and tears from my face. I turned my head to my dog, saw his eyes looking into mine, one brown and one green. Felt his sniffling breath again, his warm tongue. A fresh batch of tears sprang to my eyes. "Oh, Bo," I said. My voice was as scratchy as the concrete beneath my back. My words were blurry and muffled from the blood in my mouth and my split, swollen lips. He whined again, his breath hot in my face. He was on a dark street in a strange city far from his home, and he was worried only about me. He was my hero. I reached up painfully and scratched him behind the ears. His ears dropped and his tail wagged. I brought my hand down to my chest to feel what the kid had dropped there. My hand closed around it and held it close to my eyes so I could see it. A $20 bill. One of my $20 bills. I'd have 5. He'd left me 1. Here's what I don't get. Why people think I need help just because. I shoved the bill into my shirt pocket and closed my eyes again. Let the tears burn out through my eyelids and down my face to the street. Bo shifted his paws nervously. He whined. I knew I should get up, find a restaurant or someplace with a bathroom, get cleaned up. But I was just too sick. Too sad. Too hurt. I wanted to die, right there on the sidewalk in a city that didn't care. All of my fight was gone. I reached out and grabbed the straps of my backpack and the handles of my duffel. I crawled away from the street, away from the light, deeper into the shadows, dragging them with me. My neck, my ribs, my head all protested as I scraped along the concrete. Jolts and jabs of pain rocketed around inside me. The taste of blood in my mouth was strong and bitter. Finally, I found myself against a brick wall. The lights from the street barely reached me. I didn't think any cars would be able to see me. Good. I didn't want someone to find me. I didn't want anyone to watch me die. I wanted to be alone. I curled up on my side, facing the wall. Bo stood for a second and then lay down against my back, watching over me. His body was warm. I closed my eyes and let myself die. Chapter 3.5. Sleep hid in shadows, a friend lost in dark questions, rain and wind outside. Jess lay in bed, the note from her lost friend clutched tight in her hand. She'd read it and reread it enough times now that the words ran through her head without her having to turn on the light to see them. The idea that had tickled and tugged in her mind since Mark's mom first called was alive and in her room with her. She knew, in some deep kind of way, that Mark was not anywhere on the road to Spokane. He never had been. She could feel where he was heading, and her body shivered at the thought. She reached out through the miles and the storm that wetted and shook her window. She reached out with her heart to her friend, wandering wherever he was. She could feel him, she thought. That was the kind of friendship they had. She could feel his hurt. Why? She asked through the darkness. She knew, she thought, where he was going. She knew, she thought, what he was doing. The question that growled in the darkness at her was why. But there were two wolves growling in the darkness. The one that growled why was followed by a darker, quieter growl that answered, and she liked the answer even less than she liked the question. It chased all sleep out of the room. She loved her friend, and she didn't know how to help him, because the question she wanted to shout back at the wolves in the darkness was this: if she knew where Mark was going, and if she was right about why he was going there, then should she tell? She needed to know. Would her best friend choose to die? What had made him run? Chapter 4. 115 miles to go. I woke up to the sound of music. I spit a clot of dried blood out of my mouth and listened. It was angels singing. I couldn't understand the words, but it was beautiful. A warm wind-like breath blew over my face. I did it, I thought. I died. I licked at my split lip. It's about time. There was nothing but the angels singing and the warm wind and lots of pain. My lips hurt. My teeth hurt. My head hurt. My back hurt. My ribs hurt. Ugh, I said. My tongue was thick and dry in my mouth. I'm not dead. Bo jumped up beside me and panted good morning in my face. He whined and licked his lips and wagged his tail so hard his butt shook. He nudged at me with his nose. Yeah, buddy, I croaked. My throat was hoarse and scratchy. Give me a sec. I blinked and tried to prop an elbow beneath me. Jagged slivers of pain shot up from my ribs to my skull. I managed to sit up and look around. I was sitting on the dirty asphalt of an alley, tucked into a corner between a brick wall and a green dumpster. The dumpster was beat up and dented, and its smell woke my nose up quick. Somehow, I'd managed to crawl behind it. In a sour, foggy flash, the whole nightmare came back to me, being followed by fear, the anger, the rat-faced kid, the beating. The money. I quickly fumbled through my pockets and found it. One $20 bill, that was it. My hands formed into fists. My breath came hard and fast. It's not enough, I said out loud, my voice hard and sharp, like broken glass. I shook my head. Sickness rose in my belly. My hands went soft. My breath slowed as I concentrated on not throwing up. I was too sick and too tired to fight back the tears that seeped into my eyes. "It's not enough," I said again. My voice was small and fragile, like broken glass.